Okay, so I didn't get to meet Arthur Lee. He died when I was 14, right? In 1986, he died. I got to got a picture of him. I know we resemble each other. I'm still working on getting his birth certificate and death certificate. I'm working on that. As y'all saw on the last thing, I'm working on my other three. So it's just a matter of time that I get it. It's just going to take people to really be doing their job. Since COVID came around, nobody wants to do their job in office. Nobody wants to do anything. And they send me back notices like that, right? I'm even working on getting documentation from Social Security. I'm trying to get my mom's first initial application that her mother actually applied for a Social Security card from her. So I'm working. I'm really working, trying to get all the information I can to put this book together. On top of that, so I met my grandmother. I've been visiting her, and what's crazy is that all my life I only had one aunt. I would hear my mom say things about, yeah, Uncle Charles. Even Uncle Charles was alive when I first met my mom, but she never let us meet these people, right? And well, she never allowed me, because I was the one that actually stayed around my mom for the longest. Like, I was the only one that was invested in, I'm not going back over there to my caretaker abuser. So even my brother, we was in the streets, but my mom's house, even though she lived in, the conditions that they lived in over there, I didn't care. I was still going to be over there, right? So I was the only one that really infiltrated, and that's my mother. You know what I'm saying? And she used to always talk about her Uncle Charles. I never got to meet. She never talked about, she talked about her Aunt Peggy in Manhattan that lived in, Esplanade Gardens. I think it was Esplanade Gardens. She's always like my Aunt Peggy, but she never said, I'm going to take you over there to go visit your family. She didn't do none of that. For some reason, that's why I said when I first met my mom, she didn't give me that embrace, that love. Oh, I miss you. I love you. I know, but I didn't get that. She didn't give me no hug, no nothing. It was also like, I'm your mother. I'm your mother. Like, that was pretty much it. And I don't know. And people were like, give her grace or whatever the case may be. At this point, I'm 52. Like, I don't, it's not that I don't want to give her grace or anything like that. It is what it is. It happened. It's happened. I'm not angry at nobody. I was angry for a long time. I'm not angry. When I started writing it and putting it on paper and letting it go, I let it go. Your girl let it go, because I can't be harboring on that. So, even though I didn't have no family, my only family was, even though my caretaker abuser had family, she was an abuser. Her family was, even her own sister was an abuser. She used to abuse us too. So, going from being, I'm with this lady since I was 3 months old. My mother, out of all the kids, I was the one, I tell you, this journey is big for me, because I was the only kid that she gave away at 3 days old. So, you giving somebody away at 3 days old, and then you meeting them by coincidence at 11 at the Department of Health, because you got to go back to school, because you moved from Manhattan to the Bronx, right? But my caretaker lived in the Bronx at one time, right down the block from where I met my mother at. So my caretaker automatically knew where my mother was at, knew where her stomping grounds was at. But, she didn't care to tell us, because she was evil, vile, surly, all of those things that's below the average person. That's who my caretaker was, right? She's dead and gone now, whatever the case may be. I hate her for how she treated us, and we should have, sometimes I just be like, why me? Why did I grow up like this? But she had that slave mentality, and, slave owners beat her and her family, and I asked her uncle that. I was wondering, did they work on the crops, the farms and all of that? And because she was born in 1909, right? And I was trying to figure out, like, okay, but even talking to my bio grandmother, my blood grandmother, going to her house, the cotton fields is right there. I got out and took a picture. I did a video of that before too and put it up. When I go back down, I'm gonna show you again the cotton fields. The cotton fields was there. So my grandmother said, yeah, she used to work on the cotton fields when she was younger. My bio grandmother, but my the lady that raised me, my caretaker, my abuser, she wasn't even my grandmother. I thought she was my grandmother, but she wasn't, because I thought my father, Reynard, I thought he was my real father, but he wasn't, right? Well, I know that now at this age or whatever, but I thought that was his real mother because they kind of similar looked alike, but, come to find out that wasn't his mother. And he was telling the truth, but I thought he was lying too. Like, yeah, that's your mother. You just talking, because he was real funny. Reynard, he was a funny guy. But anyway, not having he didn't have no family, so it's like he didn't know who his family was. So we didn't even have no aunts and uncles and nothing like that, right? And that being said, like, I found his family. He just was at the age, he was like, oh, I don't want to know my family. And then right after that, he wound up, he had stage 4 cancer, because the people called me and told me that he was dying. He had stage 4 cancer or whatever the case may be. And by this time, it's like, it is what it is. But my aunt wound up dying, my mother's only sister, but I was a part of her life and my cousin's life, which that was good, because that was my only family. My uncle, I never knew who he was. Daryl, he died sometime in 1999. I found that out because during COVID, I was on Ancestry, and I was finding pictures, and I found the picture of this man, and I gave the picture to my Aunt Eartha, because by this time my mom was already dead and gone. And she was like, yes, that's my brother. She said, that's my brother. Now I'm trying to find a picture, because I don't know where it's at. It's in one of my phones. I just put my phone on the and I think it's in that phone. So I'm trying to get that picture out of there. But I didn't have no aunts and uncles and stuff like that. And when I met my mom, when I met my grandmother, my father was dead. His brother was dead, which was with my uncle. His sister was dead, which would have been my aunt Queen. She's dead. So those were my grandmother's only 3 kids, and all 3 of them are dead. My grandmother outlived all her siblings. It was 12 of them, and she's the last one out of all 12 of her siblings. 6 girls and 6 boys. I got all of their names, and all her kids died off. Ain't that crazy? And not all my father's kids have died. I'm still alive. My sister Toya's still alive. I haven't reached out to them. And it's not because I didn't, and it's not because I don't want to. It's just because I like to give people time, because sometimes people I know I'm like one of those people that's trying to get information, like I'm your sister, like what? Like, I'm here. But I'm one of those people, because I'm a Libra. And I got to give people time to process that, right? So even though I got sisters or whatever the case may be, I reach out to them. They reach out to me. They'll send me a heart. Like, you're not out of you out of mind. You're not out of mind. I still think about you. And that's how I send off for them too. You know what I'm saying? And some of them, they phones don't be on, so you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I lost 2 sisters, and I still have 2 sisters left. Right? Yeah, I have 2 sisters left. I lost 2. Darcella, Yolanda's gone. I have Toya, and I have Natalie. And it's me, myself. So those are my sisters on my father's side. But in a way, too, I don't, we don't even know if I don't really know if they really my sisters, because that DNA will tell me, And I should be doing a DNA test. I'm going to revisit everybody again and see if everybody's willing to do DNA. Just to, I'm going to do it one more time. This 2025, and then I should be finished with my book. I should be finished with everything. But then I've been looking at this one DNA person that I'm like, this got to be on my mother's side, my paternal side, my maternal side, which I know during COVID, I'm like, a lot of people died. I was hoping nobody died that was on my ancestry or whatever. And come to find out, one of the cousins, I don't know if it was a cousin or whatever, just doing my research, I found out that she has died. Kathy Rhodes, she passed on, because I found her daughter's page, and it was her mother. But she on my page, and I'm like, oh, this is her mother. So I inboxed her. No response yet. But I get it. Now everybody wants another cousin or another person in their life when they're adult. Like, I got enough people in my life. I just want to know people, like, and be like, okay, just know, I am here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am a person of interest. I'm not a bad person. I'm here. I'm not here for nothing. I don't need your money. I don't need nothing. I got my own. I just want you to know and recognize that I'm a part of your bloodline. That's all I really want. Anything other than that is irrelevant.